turn a deaf ear on the word that they're saying, or when they release a word, amen, that we don't like, amen, now we have something to say. And so now all of a sudden we come out of our mouth the wrong way. And so hear this, it's like this. So one of the things we know in this house is that we're raising up prophets with a Micaiah spirit, right?
Yep.
Or Micaiah, however you choose to pronounce it. But Micaiah was a prophet that who Ahab said he didn't like him.
Yep, because he told him.
And he didn't like him because he never prophesied anything good as it related to him.
Yeah.
And so in this house, we already know. We're not raising up prophets that are going to prophesy about material stuff.
Yeah.
We're not raising up prophets that are going to prophesy, amen, in 24 hours, you're going to have a check in the mail and turn around 3 times. And God said because you turned around 3 times, amen, that he's going to do this and do that. And I have no doubt that God can't do that.
Right.
But it just ain't the type. Amen. And so here's where it's critical that we also know that there are types. So an apostle is just not an apostle. A prophet is just not a prophet. But there are types. Amen. So for instance, I know that I am a Davidic and a Pauline apostle.
Amen.
What does that mean? That I walk literally in the footsteps, amen, of course, of Yeshua, amen, but also my type or my personality type as an apostle is like David and Paul.
Amen.
My experience is like David and Paul. I didn't grow up in the church. Amen. God had to knock me off of my intellectual high horse. So I can very much relate to David and Paul. And so I know my apostolic type. And so it becomes critical that we understand what type of apostle you follow.
Right. Right.
Because that's going to speak to the type of house that you follow.
Woo!
And so because you follow a Davidic and Pauline apostle, get this. This is going to be a house that goes through suffering.
Yep.
Amen. So if you ain't looking to suffer, this might not be the house for you.
Might not be.
Because we got to look at the life of Paul and understand, okay, this is what Paul went through. Then 9 times out of 10, because my apostle, amen, identifies with that, that's going to be on this house too. Amen.
It's quiet.
Because David was in the wilderness, because David was his own man doing his own thing most of his life, guess what, y'all? That's going to be on this house. And so this is where people struggle with, well, how come we don't associate with this person and that person and them over there and them over there? Because that's not how God has raised us up to be. Not that we bougie with our nose stuck up in the air and all that stuff, but that's not how God has measured us. God has measured us to be very specific in the earth. Right? He did some very specific things with David. David was the first king priest. So he said, David, because I'm going to raise you up to be a king priest, you're going to be the first one to ever have access to the Ark of the Covenant.
Amen.
And so what does that say? That I believe that this house, if we play our cards right, we have access to some very intricate and very intimate places in God.
Yes.
That a lot of houses don't have.
Woo!